With so many different religions in India and a history of conflict among religious ideologies dating from before India's independence in 1947, the shining ideal of India's great acceptance for the religions of the world seems a little dulled. The concept of this tolerance in theory is truly wonderful, but does it measure up in practice?
There is a difference between theory and practice. It is seen all over the world. In theory, Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, and other religions, they all preach brotherhood, all mankind. But I have seen for the last many years conflict between different religions, and especially after the attack of WTO of USA, there is a big clash between Christianity, follower of the Christianity, and the follower of the Islam throughout the world level. So this difference is there.
India was a country of great tolerance and is struggling to keep that because politics, money, and all have come to influence how we think. 100 years ago, India was the greatest tolerant country. For some individuals in India that practice intolerance, that cannot be placed at the doorstep of the Indian government trying to do something about tolerance. It is still a wonderful principle. It is still a wonderful thing to follow and attempt to follow, although difficult to do.
One of the major causes of violence in India's past was the partition of the country into various states based on ideological, ethnic, and religious lines in 1947. Although this was the beginning of democratic governance in India, there are those who think that the subcontinent should have been left as it was, and that this meddling disturbed the spiritual acceptance that India had developed over thousands of years.
There is rivalry in every family. There is rivalry in this neighborhood, in every neighborhood. These rivalries have to be sublimated. But by means of partition, you just institutionalized it. You perpetuated it. You aggravated it. And that's why all this is going on. The democratic style, despite all its blemishes, has grown up here. Despite the failures of leaders, follies of leaders, it has come to stay. And therefore, we have been able to sustain secularism in every sphere. There are aberrations. All on a sudden I do something wrong, then there is a retaliation. Then there are media who would only talk of the retaliation. For instance, Indira Gandhi was killed. In the course of one day, 4,000 people were killed. That doesn't mean that we lost our secularism.
Football is a great example of the acceptance India hopes to maintain. But do the spiritual constraints of the religions in India restrict the growth and professional level of the game? For instance, vegetarianism, which is common to Hindus, Buddhists, and Sikhs, and some would argue this diet weakens the body.
And vegetarianism is a very, very debatable subject. But if you look at the animal kingdom, for example, the elephant only eats grass. The cow only eats grass, yet it makes the most wonderful protein that everybody else eats. So that same vegetable, in one sense we can believe has got so much of power. In another sense we say it creates weakness. An elephant can uproot a great tree sort of with its tongue, just uproot it. So how much of physical strength comes from eating the grass?
There is a genetic factor. It's true that in some parts of India they are also very, sturdy and all that. But the Punjabis, for instance, they devoted themselves to hockey, to cricket, but not so much to football. From time to time we have great players, but so it's an uphill struggle. Other countries have come forward and their players are much more sturdy. We may be good in skills, but you require speed, you require stamina.
India has got one of the greatest wrestlers in the world. I mean, the wrestling is a great sport. So physical strength is not something. Martial arts, they are exceptionally great at doing. So I don't think playing soccer or playing has got anything to do with vegetarianism. It's just that I think they haven't done it. And these soccer players that are playing today are not the soccer players that played 50 years ago. Soccer players today are in a gym. They are exercising every part of their body, every part of their system to make sure that they are able to compete at a level that sport is played today, at a physical requirement that is required today, rather than what it was like before.
So, if it's not the dietary or spiritual restrictions of the faith they follow that accounts for the lukewarm success of Indian football, what is it? The players certainly feel a great sense of pride when they don the Indian national team jersey.
What really matters is soccer. When you're on the football field, nobody goes to see in which religion you come from, whether it's like a Catholic, Hindu, Muslim, Buddhist, whatever it is, doesn't matter anyways. Like on the field, we are all as one, we play as one, and we play as united, and that's called soccer.
When they wear the blue of the India team, they're Team India. Or when they wear the club shirts, they are Team India. Because of the size of the country, because of the kind of religions that we have, anywhere you go, you have 10 people, not all of them are going to belong to the same religion. But beyond the point, I think it does matter at a personal level, at an individual level. Of course it does. But no, otherwise, I don't think it's the team that they play for.
There's a great potential, there's a great talent in India, I think, and I think we can look into the talents and we will find talents. But the thing is that to look into it, finding it is one big job. After finding it, to groom them is another big job. So I think these are the things where we need to work on.
We, I think, have yet to develop the infrastructure. The government sector and the private sector have to work together to gain a status in world football.
Anything that you do in life, if you do it more often, if you spend more hours in doing that, you'll become more proficient in doing it. So I believe that the Indian people have not become good at playing soccer because they haven't given the amount of time. And also, it's your action. If they do that, if they perform the karma for doing soccer, they'll become good at it. And again, I'm sure life's about a cycle. The countries of Europe were good at playing soccer. You can see a resurgence of Africa coming and producing some of the best players in the world, because that's the cyclical nature of life. That no empire was the greatest forever. No king ruled forever. The cyclical nature of things, that everything that goes up to the top will eventually fall down. Everything that is at the bottom will eventually come up. So like that, there'll be a cyclical nature of things in the world, and I'm sure someday India will become a good soccer playing nation.
Football is getting popular gradually. Like right now, it's popular as compared to years back, like maybe 10 years back. It's growing every day. It's getting bigger. There are more players from different continents, so it's getting popular every day.
The proof of this rise in popularity is evident in the youth of the country.
If you ask any youngster, tell me the name of few clubs, they will take 3-4 names. If you want to know who is the best player now playing in Calcutta, they can take name of Bachung Bhutia, they can take name of Barreto, Edmilson. These are the foreigners getting good name. These are the things.
The football fraternity of India appears to have no issues with reconciling their spiritual obligations with their physical lives. And so, as the people of India deal with their own individual differences and religious issues, perhaps they should take a closer look at what's happening on the football pitches. They might just find a lesson to help remind them of their tolerant history.
Ball's equal to all of us. When all these players play together, the ball is not heavier or lighter for Christians or for Hindus. The ball itself is uniquely the same. So that which around everything revolves, all the playing field, all the players revolve around the structure that is one, brings about the oneness that actually sort of like they all feel. The game of soccer is universal. The game itself has the potential of equalizing everything. When we see the greatness of that, like when we see the hand of God in all of us, or the Spirit of God in all of us, then that will eventually make all of us equal, make us believe that we can live together, that we can enjoy together, that we can flourish and grow together. So therefore, these sports people find it easy because the ball is a unifying factor, not their individual characteristics and so on.